What's up guys, I'm the East Coaster fan and welcome to my car. I'm starting off the video here just because it's cold outside and I wanted to do a little bit of a preamble before we get into what this video is about, an Adventureland off-season tour. I always plan to come this day to do the tour, but recently there have been a few updates online that have really made me intrigued to check out what's going on at Adventureland. First of all, you had the confirmation of a bunch of Wave Twister stuff, them confirming the problems that the ride had last season, as well as their intention to open Wave Twister at the beginning of the 2026 season. And then you also had the park have an article in Newsday in which they confirmed some changes to the plan. I want to make a video looking more in depth in the future of that plan another day. But in the article, they shared that there's going to be 2 other attractions coming in 2026, as of yet unknown. So I'm curious to see if I notice anything particular about those attractions during my tour today. In addition to that, since it's Adventureland, usually when they add stuff, they tend to take attractions out. So I'm going to keep my eyes open and see if any attractions that were in the park are no longer there, whether they're big or small. Now that might be hard to tell in some areas of the park, but I'll try my best. And then the last thing I want to point out is that last night I saw on Facebook these pictures that were posted of potential parts laying in the parking lot. But since it's day now, I want to go there and try and get a better view of those for all of you. But to start off this video, I'm going to walk towards the perimeter here and take a closer look. As always with my tours, and especially during the off season, I'm not trespassing on any of the property, and I recommend you do not as well, because that'll lead to some dire consequences. I'm just an eager fan, just checking out what's going on with the park. So with that being said, let's get out of the car and check on some off-season updates. Starting over here, nothing super noticeable in this area other than the trains for turbulence presumably wrapped up, or that could just be like the railings. But they do also have the fans still going on, which I find very interesting and sort of funny. It's also kind of weird, just as a longtime Adventureland fan, seeing Wave Twister peeking out. I know it was like that in 2025, but I'm still just trying to get used to this attraction being here. You'd be able to notice more stuff in the park if this white fence wasn't up, but if you were curious, this is actually the backside of the train station. And when you're in the park, it's really hard to tell that there's like a Target parking lot back here. They do a good job of concealing it, but not good for this off-season update where I want to see into the park. As I've mentioned, not too much to see over here, but it is an important view to get of the property just in case something were to happen. So let's continue on to our next spot over by City Bank. Over here by City Bank, you can see what looks like dirt on the ground. I think it's actually just like salt. It's gonna be snowing later today, so they're getting prepared. But basically I'm gonna go from this stretch all the way down to basically like where we can see the wave swings, and I'll give you a good look at the front half of the park. And the first thing I want to point out is actually Frisbee, because I was a little worried about this ride going into 2026, but you can see it all wrapped up over there in white. So I am presuming that means that Frisbee is safe for another season. I mention that because Frisbee is now one of the older rides in the park. But anyway, going through again, Music Express, it's a little hard to see just because we're on the back of it. You see rescue boats without any of its water, the train lights, which are weirdly on, as well as some other things. Doesn't look like there's anything particularly new with the Little Dipper, although that wood might be new, I'm not exactly sure. And Little Dipper is a popular enough ride, I don't think it's going anywhere. I just noticed a big change, and I'm curious to see if anyone else can notice it. I'll give you 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Where the heck is the carousel? You are normally not able to see this view. The carousel is missing. That's a weird sight. Yeah. I am actually kind of shocked about that. I don't know if it means that big renovation's going on or it's fully getting replaced with something else. I'm actually really surprised I noticed that, because I was just walking down this path here and I'm like, I see the queue stanchions over there, but where the heck is the carousel behind it? Another ride, it's a little hard to tell what's up with it, is New York City Race. You can see a little bit of work happening on the track there. So again, I'm not sure if that's indicating a potential renovation, normal work, or maybe a removal. Who knows? New York City Race has been here for a while now, so I'm not surprised that it's getting some more attention. I guess if you're curious to know what the maintenance is on Fireball's cars, you can see that they're just wrapped up. They don't remove them, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much all that is happening in the front. I'll say a little more of an update over here than I actually intended. I was not anticipating a missing carousel, so that will definitely be something we're gonna look out for during Adventureland's opening day. All right, back in the car and drove over to the next spot, which is our usual, right by Wave Twister. Let's see what's up. Oh, Wave Twister, you already have a tumultuous history, but it is still very fun to see what is up. Although, first things first, why is your vehicle not covered? Unless they're doing some off-season testing, I am kind of surprised to see that, if I'm being honest. Hey, listen, if they want to get a bunch of tests out of the way, I'd do it now as well. You can also see the tire marks up there, so you can just see how far up the track it's actually reaching. The ride itself, as we all know by now, is gonna go back and forth up this track, over this curve, and then up the other track over there. But one thing that is brand new, if I pan down a little bit, you can see that wooden platform. That is just for safety. If the train, I guess, were to ever valley there, they can evacuate the passengers of Wave Twister. So good to see that over there. Although it's not on the other side, so I guess they'd have to manually spin the vehicle in order to get everybody off safely. But I think that's actually a pretty good addition. It might be last minute seeing that like it's a wooden structure and maybe they didn't plan for it, but definitely good. Safety is number one, so I'm not surprised that it is there. It also does appear that the station is fully complete for Wave Twister with gates and painted rails and you name it. So even though it is in the down position now, that looks pretty much ready to go. Because I was curious to where this staircase leads, I kind of followed it down and there's this like dirt patch right here, right up against the fence. So they really made this fit. And yeah, it won't be the best walk you have coming off of Wave Twister if you valley. But again, this will probably be like a very rarely used staircase, mostly used by maintenance if anything. Normally I would end the video here, but there is one more place that I wanna take you guys, and it's a view that I have not done yet on any of these construction update videos, but I think it's gonna be a key one for today's video. Behind that fence is the Adventureland parking lot, and there's some things to see. If I'm being honest, I probably could have come here during the whole Moon Chaser construction, but I never did, so this will be the first time covering it. And it's not the stuff over here, even though it is interesting, the teacups and the rescue boats. It's if you pan over here, oh, what's this? Lying in the parking lot. So these were the pictures that I saw last night as of the recording of this video, but it was at night, so it was really hard to tell. So what I want to do is go down this fence here and basically just see what is up. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where we were discussing that Adventureland's going to be receiving 2 additional rides in 2026 in addition to Moon Chaser. So that could be what we're seeing over here. And the main reason is that, like, I'm completely stumped. I have no idea what these things are, but it looks like almost a pirate ship looking thing on the side with like these wooden spirals. Sorry. And then you got these blue supports that are for something either the same or completely different. Also, you got Moon Chaser folded up over there. I actually do want to take a pause here because this is actually a little bit unusual for Moon Chaser. I looked at my footage from last year to see if it was in a similar state, and no, it wasn't. If you look here, it's all packed up in what I'll call trailer mode. Basically, this is how transported rides in, let's say, a carnival move around. So this could have some implications for Moon Chaser. First of all, it could be leaving the park, which I'd be very surprised about since they advertised it as the first major attraction for Legacy Corner. But it has been having some maintenance issues and has been making a lot of like squeaky noises, and it's an older attraction as well. It could also be a relocation within Legacy Corner. If you recall, the setup for Moon Chaser always looked sort of temporary, so maybe it's in the trailer mode so it could be moved to another portion of the park or another portion in Legacy Corner. And finally, it could just be like that because it's winter, but again, I am not sure why it's like this. Personally, I hope something drastic doesn't happen because Moon Chaser is one of my favorite rides in the park now. But again, it is very interesting and I could see it going many ways. So anyway, let's head back and finish out this video. So now we got a flat, steady view of everything. Again, you could see that like spiral over there, and I'm like struggling to figure out what that is. It could be like a pirate thing, it could be like a jungle tree branch. It's really perplexing and I'm not really sure what's going on. And then you got the blue supports that are just lying on the ground, and I don't know where those would go either. It's a very interesting looking thing, and I was trying to map it to like other rides that I know, and I'm struggling a bit, so I'm gonna need your guys' help to decipher all of this. But then again, look how thick those pieces are. I actually thought the two spirals were two different pieces. I guess they're one connected piece. Who knows what that could be? And yeah, those circles over there, not sure either. Again, I'm gonna need your guys' help on this one. It's perplexing. So there we go, back in the car, just like where the video started. Overall, very exciting to see some parts in the parking lot, but also very intrigued with what we saw towards the beginning of this video with the carousel now being gone. Gonna definitely be keeping my eyes out for that one. That was definitely unexpected. But yeah, in terms of the ride, like I said, I am really curious to see what it is because, like, I don't know. I have no idea what it is just based on those parts alone, although it could be something really cool. My theory is a new pirate ship. It kind of looks like the ends of a ship, but it could be something completely different. Thank you all so much for tuning into this Adventureland off-season construction update. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a like. If you really liked it, make sure to subscribe. For more content, be sure to follow me on Instagram at East Coaster Fan. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.